Bar Stool Sports. Titus, Brandon Walker, mostly sports.
Look who's back. Welcome to Mostly Sports, presented by Jägermeister. I am Mark Titus. He is Brandon Walker. Today is Wednesday, May 29th. We are live from Chicago, and we are here to tell you all about ice cold shots.
Damn! That's cold.
Ice cold shots.
Damn, that's cold.
Ice, 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 ice.
Damn, that's cold.
Ice, 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 ice.
Is this a remix?
Ice, ice,
Damn.
ice, 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 ice. Cold shot, ice, ice, ice. Cold shot, ice.
Well,
I don't know.
that's the thing we did.
Wherever you're at, if you're hanging with friends or at the bar, maybe you're doing all the sports stuff or just mostly sports stuff, call the shots. Cheers with ice cold Jägermeister. Remember to check out Jägermeister at Jägermeister.com. Drink responsibly. Jägermeister, the core 35% alcohol by volume, imported by Mass Jägermeister, U.S., White Plains, New York. Welcome back, Brandon. What do you want to talk about?
The Minnesota Timberwolves are fucking relentless. I know they're down 3-1 in the series. I'm aware of it. And chances are Dallas will figure out a way to win one of these last 3 games. But watching that fourth quarter and how they kind of used the same template of building a little lead and defensively just backing it up like they did. They wore down the Nuggets in a 7-game series. They wore them down.
Yeah.
I could see that happening again. I could see – it looked last night in the fourth quarter like Luka just – I know he had the 4-point play that wasn't, but he just was kind of done with it.
Uh-huh.
He was kind of done with everything and just please get me off this court with these crazy people out here. I think the way they play defense and the way they get after you and the way they wear your ass out, they've got a chance to win the series.
Whoa.
I don't think they will. Obviously, all Dallas has to do is get right one time, right? And Karl Anthony Towns, if he doesn't have a 25-point game or whatever he had, chances are he's going to have another stinker. But goddamn, they're impressive when they're rolling.
Well, I mean, all these games have been close, and yeah, if the ball bounces the wrong way for the Timberwolves one more time.
I think
like
Dallas won by 3, by 1, and by 9.
Yeah.
The first 3 games.
But you're right. Like we are eventually. I asked Big Cat this yesterday, and he said as much as well, that like we are eventually going to see a team come back from down 3-0.
Yeah.
It's just more often than not, the teams that do get down 3-0
are not as good as the other team.
Yeah, at some point in those 3 games, they lost by 25. Mm-hmm. They don't have home court advantage. Maybe they played the first 2 on the road. They lose one of them by a ton. And so yeah, the hole that they've dug themselves, or the it's evident that they are completely outmatched against the other team, which is how they got down 3-0. But yeah, the Timberwolves Mavericks feels like a series that if you told me, like, the Timberwolves are obviously they can play with the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, they can play with them. They're right there.
Yeah, so like the idea of them winning 3 more games is not that far fetched. It's just like it's one of those things that we've never seen happen before. So, for my brain to comprehend it would be, it's hard to envision it because we've never seen it happen before.
They're one of these teams. I don't know if I've ever seen it before, but their momentum is seen on the defensive end more than it is the offensive end. When they get kind of rolling in the second half, they did this in the third quarter of game 5. I can't remember which game. Maybe game 7. Yeah, third quarter of games.
Time out. 20. All right. Deep breaths.
They did this in the third quarter of Game 7 against the Nuggets, where they just get rolling downhill, and the Nuggets try to dig out of it, and there's a turnover. Anthony Edwards is everywhere, playing like 4 defensive positions, creating steals, creating havoc. And when he's getting easy buckets on the break because of his defense, they're just miserable to play against. That's the word that I think I would describe. They are miserable to play against.
Is it as simple as, like, the Timberwolves defense is maybe not going to completely shut you down, but it's their bread and butter, and ultimately the reason they look not great in the playoffs is that their offense gets clunky when they can't force
100%. Yeah.
So is it as simple as just Karl Anthony Towns if he plays well?
So they need They need
Is that
something
it?
to smooth to grease the wheels on the offensive side,
Yeah.
right? Because Anthony Edwards, as good as he is, he's not Steph Curry, who's just going to come down and you give him any open look, he's gonna knock it down. He's not somebody that's going to score 40 every night. He can do it, but he's going to get you going if he's got somebody to help him. If he's got Karl Anthony Towns that can hit 4 threes in the second half, if he's got somebody to score 20 points in the second half, then yes, that's the unbeatable version of him.
Yeah.
Not, am I okay? Whose water is this? Was this here yesterday? I'm a little. Water tastes like water. I'll just tell you right now. I was not here yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Mississippi for a funeral.
Mm-hmm.
My best friend Matt Warren, his wife passed away, and I found out Saturday night that she passed away. I immediately Sunday morning woke up and it was weather. It was tornadoes and stuff, and so I drove instead of fly. So I drove down, and as soon as I got there, I found out the funeral's next Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So I drove right back yesterday, and now I got to go back down. Bottom line, I don't know where I am right now.
Were you still with Uncle Doug?
I had just put Uncle Doug at the airport.
Okay.
I dropped him off at O'Hare. Uncle Doug got stuck in O'Hare for 12 hours. He didn't fly out till Monday morning. It's been a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
But Uncle Doug is back in.
Oh, because he got stuck with the weather?
He got stuck with the
Oh,
weather, yeah. And that's what I beat out of here. But yeah, Timberwolves, good team.
We're going to see a team come back from down 3-0.
I think we
It's gonna
are.
happen.
And this would be the template because, like you said, they were down 3-0, but they were not dominated one time.
Yeah.
They were never dominated.
Right.
Dallas never really had a chokehold on them. And will Dallas win the series? Yeah, probably. But this is the kind of team that can do it. Because Luka looked fucking miserable last night. He looked absolutely done with his shit.
Yeah, so last year, obviously, the Celtics were down 3-0, and then they came back to force a Game 7 against the Heat,
Yeah.
and then they lost by 1,000 at home. It felt, though, like when the Celtics got down 3-0, it felt like they were broken
Yeah.
as a ball club. And then they played better, obviously, and forced the Game 7. But there was like a different, like all the Boston people at this company were like, we're going to win Game 7. Like we're going to they in this position right here, they won Game 4. I remember it vividly last year that I had fucking social producers sticking cameras in my face, being like, "You think the Celtics are gonna do it?" I was like, "Do what?" They're like, "Well, they were down 3-0. They just won one game. You think they're gonna come back and win the series?" And I was like, "No." And I was the one dissenting opinion, and sure enough, they didn't do it. But the reason I felt strongly that was not going to happen was because of what the Celtics looked like in the first 3 games, and I just didn't think you could undo like the coaching advantage, the like psychological advantage that like that Miami Heat team seemed to have over the Celtics. Like the Celtics were more talented, but it just felt like the Heat had like kind of figured something out about the Celtics, and like they were just going to always have an upper hand when push came to shove. And then it did get close, and it forced the Game 7, but the Heat beat the fuck out of them. This feels different in what we've already said, that like I don't think the Mavericks in winning the first 3 games, yes, like Luka in Game 2 hitting a shot over Gobert, and you have that like moment where he's like yelling whatever the fuck he was yelling at him, and then yelling into the crowd, I'm gonna kill you all, and like that felt a little bit like Luka has total dominance over this franchise. But if you watch like the entirety of those 3 games, I don't think it was fair to say that like the Mavericks have completely figured out the Timberwolves and that they are a step above or like whatever else. I still think they're going to win the series, but it does feel like this. If it did happen, this feels like a formula for it to happen.
We have a
like
series
if
now.
If it was going to happen, it would have to feel like this kind of.
So you mentioned the psychological thing last year with the Celtics, and that's the crazy part because it doesn't feel like it's here at all. Even when they were down 3-0, Anthony Edwards didn't carry himself like they were down 3-0. He didn't walk and talk like they were down 3-0. At the same time, last night in the fourth quarter, Luka and them are up 3-0. They're not carrying themselves like they're up 3-0.
Right.
They look like they're panicking a little bit, and they look like they're not really putting it all together. Now, there's a lot of hay to put in the barn here as far as competing well enough to get this thing back on even ground. But they got Game 5 at home. They win that one.
Favored.
They're favored by 4.5.
Yeah.
They're favored in that one. Then you got kind of a one-game shot at Dallas. Dallas has to close them out in Game 6.
Yeah. All
'Cause
the
you don't-
pressure. Yeah.
You don't want to go back to
pressure on
Minnesota in
them.
Game 7, even though that's what happened to Boston last year. I just think the way they're built, man, if Towns can give them anything offensively, if he can give them 20 on efficient shooting. Last night he was 9 of 13,
Yeah.
which, 25 points on 9 of 24 shooting is one thing. 25 points on 9 of 13 shooting is fantastic. If he can give them anything, that defense gets rolling. Naz Reid gets rolling. I think they can really make this exciting. Now, I got two players I wanted to talk about, okay?
Okay.
Rudy Gobert's number one. Played well last night defensively, offensively, everything.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized Gobert is a unicorn that we have never, ever seen in professional basketball. And this is what I mean. He is a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, right? He won Defensive Player of the Year this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yet it seems, from the outside looking in, that all the players in the NBA, all the analysts around the NBA, have zero respect for him at all.
Because he's not good.
Okay, all right. Now, that's what I'm saying. It seems like none of his peers have respect for him. None
Yeah.
of the analysts right close to the game have respect for him. But every other Defensive Player of the Year in history was feared or respected or revered,
Right.
or just you would talk to a player about them and they would just be almost hushed tones about him. Just, oh my God, that guy, Ben Wallace. I'm
Right.
not going to say anything bad
Right.
about Ben Wallace.
Right.
Fucking Alonzo Mourning, I'm not saying
Right.
bad about Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe Mutombo, Akeem Olajuwon, on and on. These guys that were known as defensive stars, although Olajuwon did everything. These guys are known as defensive stars, had the ultimate respect. And Gobert is a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, and nobody gives a shit about him.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's weird that he won. It's not weird that he doesn't have the respect, in my opinion. It's weird that he won the awards and that he continues to win the awards. I find that to be more. I find that to be the weird part. It makes total sense to me that the rest of the league doesn't respect him. What's going on?
I tried to drink with my top on.
Oh, pop your shirt off. Take your shirt off.
I can't drink. I can't drink with a shirt on. This is crazy.
Yeah, Gobert. I think the reason that the rest of the league probably doesn't respect him is one, he feels like one dimensional. He's great at the reason he's winning Defensive Player of the Year. He is very, very good at blocking shots, playing help side defense. He is very good at having very long arms. He's good at.
I like that being a skill.
Yeah. No, that's what he's good at, having really fucking long arms and jumping high and being able to block shots when he's coming from help side defense, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
He's good at catching. He's good at catching lobs that are he's good at offensive goaltending when a guy on the Timberwolves drives to the bucket and throws it up and the ball is already in the cylinder.
Yeah.
And he catches it.
He's really good at that.
Really fucking good at that. And I think the rest of the league doesn't respect him for that reason. Is that you have he has zero moves. He doesn't do anything offensively. He does. I think the rest of he is like the Zach Edey, the way people hate Zach Edey in college basketball. That's how I think the league feels about Rudy Gobert. Where they're he's not good at basketball. He's just tall.
Yeah.
He's just tall and has long arms, and he's tricked everybody into thinking he's good. I think that's kind of the discourse about Rudy Gobert behind closed doors from the rest of the league.
I mean, Kendrick Perkins literally said, I don't think I'll ever vote again because this guy stole my he's misrepresenting my vote for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, and Ebo brought up a great point that I think the reason he wins all these Defensive Player of the Years is because blocks. It's hard to quantify defensive impact.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have there are only so many stats defensively. You can and so perimeter defenders are at a disadvantage if you're someone that wants to vote on this shit because of stats. If stats are eye popping to you, and you see Rudy Gobert has a game where he has 9 blocks. That jumps off the page to you, whereas you might not Drew Holiday crawling into a guy's shit, forcing him to take a shot that he didn't want to take, and he has a hand in his face. You don't really have a tally mark for that. There's not
no. And guards looking around to see where Anthony Edwards is at all times.
Right.
That shit.
There's not. Yeah, and the one stat that guards have that everyone can look to is steals, I guess, but steals aren't really indicative of the best perimeter defenders because steals.
Anthony Edwards had 0 steals last night.
Yeah.
He was a fucking menace.
Yeah.
Like, he was everywhere.
So I think what happens is when it comes time to vote for Defensive Player of the Year, you just you boil down candidacies based on stats, and then when a guy averages a lot of blocks, you're like, well, he must be the best defensive player. I don't know because I either that or like the playoffs are truly just a completely different game than the regular season. In which case, I think that's sort of a problem too that the league might have.
Well,
like if
that's definitely true.
yeah, and I think that's fucking crazy. It's like why I don't know. That's like why not just make the entire regular season out of the playoffs?
I guess
I don't know how the game becomes like just completely different. I don't know how Rudy
because
Gobert.
March Madness is an extension of college basketball's record.
March Madness is college.
That's college basketball.
Yeah,
They play the exact same.
They play the exact same game. It's just the stakes get higher. Guys do start like
Pressure ramps up.
pressure ramps up, and you guys do uncharacteristic things because they're nervous or whatever. But it feels like the same game. But the NBA, for Rudy Gobert to be just a dominant force like that, if you didn't even know attention to the NBA and you just like read what people say about Rudy Gobert throughout the course of the season, during the regular season, you're led to believe that this guy might be the greatest defender this sport has ever seen. And then during the playoffs, you're led to believe he cannot be on the floor more often than not. And I don't understand how, like, if both of those are very true, then I think there's a bigger problem, which is like, why are these two completely different sports? Why can't we find a middle ground where like like the NBA is, when you watch an NBA game, you know what you're going to see instead of having to like do the calculus of whether is this an important game? So does this mean that they're going to play? Oh, okay, so this is an important game, which means that the rest of the guys are going to play hard. They're going to go at Rudy Gobert, whereas in a random ass February game, Rudy Gobert is going to have 10 blocks because reasons, I guess.
And rub all the microphones. Evo, have the nerds turned on blocks yet?
No, I don't think so.
Really? I feel like the nerds will turn on blocks soon.
I think a lot of the nerds try to do just like on-off defense type stuff, like defensive impacts like that. Whereas your average NBA fan is probably just looking at box score defensive statistics. But blocks are good. But it's like I think blocks are an example of like a weak side rebound. Like what is really worth what in that scenario.
Yeah. I was also watching the Mavericks last night, and I got to thinking about roster construction and everything.
Yeah.
You think the days of NBA teams just trying to gather as many stars as possible is over?
Yeah. Well, no.
Because both of these teams are 2 stars plus they have tried to get a recipe of the right pieces around them. And I think Dallas has built around Luka and Kyrie very, very, very smartly. Just athletic, long, and defensive.
I think the days of those teams winning championships might be over, or at least temporarily over. But I as they have for the chance to get the big.
They traded for a name in Bradley Beal, who's just not.
Yeah.
That ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
The Suns have kind of chased it a little bit, but otherwise,
and they're going to get Bronny now too, so they're going to have a big 4.
Yeah.
So they're really going to be.
Have you seen the previews to that Clippers series?
Yeah, it looks awful to me.
It looks awful, but Ed O'Neal's one of those guys. Like if he's in it, I'm like, I might check it out. I think I might check it out.
All right.
And I never got interested in the Lakers series. I don't know. It was the grainy footage.
I
watched like one of them, but
Brandon.
Larry Bird was just so hard to look at.
Oh no.
Is it that good?
No, but like that seems like a total misfire. That you're like winning time, not for me, but this Clippers
clip.
Yeah. Like this looks fucking awesome.
Well, first of all,
might be the only person.
We couldn't have thought of a better name than Clips.
Watch what you want and like what you like, but like that, I think you might be the only person on planet Earth that
Ed O'Neal though.
I said winning time, nah, but clipped, yes.
Ed O'Neal, sneaky Hall of Fame career by Ed O'Neal, by the way.
Yeah.
Al Bundy into the Modern Family guy.
He's been in some bullshit though.
He was in Blue Chips.
Yeah.
He was the asshole in. Well, I guess he wasn't an asshole. He was just doing his job.
He was the Fasoli of.
It's just doing my job, coach. Yeah, so we have a 3-1 series now. Back to Minnesota. Minnesota favored by 4.5 tomorrow night. Now, has it flipped now that let's just say the Timberwolves win tomorrow night, and that moves it into what day is it right now?
This is Wednesday.
Okay, so Game 6 would be Saturday or Sunday.
Mhm.
I assume Saturday, but you know how they do
Saturday.
their schedule.
They're doing it every other day, right?
So Saturday, Game 6, and let's say Dallas wins that one. And I don't know when the finals are supposed to start, but going into yesterday, we were all scared there would be an 8-day layoff between the conference finals and the real finals. Well, now, let's say Dallas wins in 6. They'll still kind of be in the groove a little bit. They'll get a couple extra days rest, and the Celtics will now be the ones coming off 8 or 9 days rest. The narrative could flip on that very, very quickly.
Yeah, but if the Celtics are getting Porzingis back, that's a good thing. The rest is a good thing for that reason. And they are, right? They're supposed to?
That's what they say.
He was supposed to come back in the last series, but God, why would
They
he?
didn't really need
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
No,
I
just resting him fully.
I know. I guess I was last year Thursday. The Pacers were still alive at that point.
Yeah.
Disappointing finish by the Pacers. Disappointing
Yeah.
finish.
I know.
I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if y'all ever talked about
No fucking shit.
it. They lost to
yeah.
the Celtics.
And the worst part about it is, I said this yesterday,
The losing.
that the part of your brain that's like they should be up 3-1 right now.
Mhm.
You have to beat that part in submission and realize that no, they shouldn't, because they never were going to win those games. They were never. They just simply. This is why I called them a finesse bitch team. Is that they could play. I think they could play the Boston Celtics 100 more times, and 95 of those games
They figure out ways to lose.
Fuck it up, yeah. But I would say in 90 of those 95 games they lose, they would hang with the Celtics, and God, it's so frustrating.
So
It wasn't like they were down like 5 and they needed the Celtics to fuck it up in the end, and then maybe they could steal a couple wins. They were beating. They were in the driver's seat for 46 minutes
in this
of
hypothetical,
3 of these games.
they lose 95 of the games.
Yeah, they lose 95 of them.
But they're leading in 90 of them.
And 90 of them they are up by at least 2 possessions with 5 minutes.
So nine out of every 10 times they're basically winning,
Right.
but they are losing.
But they fuck it up, yeah. Well, they fuck it up because they're an FBT.
Finesse bitch team.
Yeah, they're an FBT for sure.
We should probably at some point list all the FBTs. I feel like there's a bunch in college football.
Yeah.
There's probably a couple in college basketball.
Oh yeah, there are a lot in college basketball.
Carolina sometimes is a finesse bitch team, I feel like.
Carolina can be a finesse bitch team.
Yeah.
I felt like Alabama this past year was a finesse bitch team. They started playing defense during the tournament though, and made the Final Four, but they were by and large throughout the season a finesse bitch team.
Arizona,
Which
were
again,
they a finesse bitch team?
People, for some reason, fans don't like it when you call their team a finesse bitch team, and I don't really understand why. I'm not. Go ahead.
The word bitch is in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't think.
2 of those 3 words are fine. Well, finesse is on the
Finesse.
fence.
Finesse.
Bitch is bad.
Bitch is bad.
Team is fine.
Yeah.
So if you just call them a team, maybe they get over. They're okay.
Yeah, that's probably what it might be. It might. Now I see. Why. But I'm not saying they're bad. I'm never.
You're just saying they're finesse
To be
bitches.
clear, finesse bitch team does not mean bad. It does not mean you're never going to win games. It does not mean you can't advance in tournament settings. It just means, I think the only way you can only win one style of play, and it's a finesse bitch brand of basketball.
Well, the Dolphins
Football.
were the original finesse bitch team on this show, right?
Yeah,
And they made the playoffs. Like
razzmatazz, a lot of razzmatazz, a lot of
mostly
yeah,
They didn't
yeah.
do a lot of Mataz. Niners were a Mataz team.
Niners had the Mataz. Yeah. Can you play finesse baseball? What's finesse baseball look like?
I don't know.
Is it?
A lot of walks? Would that be finesse? But then
I don't
no,
think
then
that's
It's like
finesse.
playing. It's
that
playing
insinuates
small
that you're
ball?
pitching away from you.
Would it be like the?
Finesse baseball is good, right?
No,
I don't think.
I think finesse baseball would be a pitching oriented team, right? Wouldn't it?
Or is it just bombing home runs?
Yeah,
'Cause
like I think
part of
it's
finesse
reverse,
is
yeah.
part of finesse is like
Well,
you're
home
doing
runs
it-
aren't finesse.
Or would it be like
It's showy though.
but it's showy. Finesse is showy. Finesse is like
a shortstop doing no-look tags on a throw down to second base?
yeah.
So Javi Baez is the ultimate finesse bitch player.
Yeah, kind.
So were the
I'll
2016 Cubs a finesse bitch?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but they won the World Series. I would say every year the Cubs didn't win the World Series on that run or that era.
It was because they were a
a
finesse bitch team.
I would say that. Yeah.
Is any finesse?
Because like a team that still bunts and hits for average and
That's a
tries to move.
dinosaur.
That's like a grit and grind team. That's
Yeah.
not a finesse team.
Those are
That's
dirtbags.
That's a
Yeah.
That's to muck it up to.
Even though it requires like finesse and touch to do
Wait,
those things. Like
are
the
home
other
runs
way.
a finesse?
I think home runs might be weirdly a finesse.
Because you're just
baseball-
jogging around the bases.
Yeah.
There's no pressure there.
It's a lackadaisical style because you only
Yeah.
care about one thing. You're not refined in other areas.
Yeah, you're just trying to be showy.
So who would be a finesse pitcher? Like Jamie Moyer? Somebody throws like 88? I guess that is the definition of a finesse pitcher.
I don't know. This is
Tom
breaking, this is
Glavine?
breaking my brain. 'Cause
Yeah.
But these are
all
great
of our
players.
all of our understanding of finesse in sports gets flipped on its head for baseball, I think.
Yeah, it's based on physicality.
Yeah.
And there is no physicality in baseball. Well, not very little compared to football.
I think it's almost finesse grit. Like your finesse grit teams in baseball are good, but they're
Yeah.
But
finesse,
grit and finesse are two opposing ideals.
Yeah.
finesse bitch doesn't really exist in baseball. Like you can't.
There's
can't
definitely
be a-
bitches in baseball, though.
Yeah, there's a lot, especially during World War II.
That's a good point.
It's a great point, Evo. It's a great point.
All right.
Knuckleball pitcher? Is that a finesse pitcher?
I think of like the NL Central as like finesse bitch teams. I don't know why, even though that's the
What do we?
I don't know.
What?
AL Central is a little bit more finesse bitch.
Should
You
I?
just hate
Any
you
NL
just
team
hate
before
Middle America.
2021.
You just hate Middle America. You're just a coastal league.
Yeah, yeah.
You are
At least for
That's
baseball.
really all
yeah.
it is. You just hate.
AL East is the only division I reckon.
I got a question for you. Help me work through something. This
ahead.
just happened at 9:20. My uncle Doug texted me, said, I would like to send you and Big Cat a text. Can you send me a cell number? I definitely don't need to give Uncle Doug.
Yeah. I mean, he's just gonna text.
What do you think that text is going to be?
It's just gonna be thank you.
I don't think it is. Uncle
Really?
Doug's not a thank you kind of guy.
You don't think so? He seems like a gentleman. You don't think he's gonna text? Just wanted to formally thank you for.
He's never done anything
Hospitality
formally.
and
What are you going to text? That's what I'm going to say. That's what you say when you have a question, right? You ask it
Yeah.
to people.
But it is funny that he wants to send you. He texted you that he wants to send you a text.
Mm-hmm. He could
He
send
could
that
just
to me now.
Send that now in this text. Yeah.
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 Yeah, we got the Timberwolves up. At some point, I asked Mark this before the show, but did the T-Wolves branding change? Because it feels like most people call them the Wolves now as opposed to the T-Wolves. Have they gotten rid of the T? Or is this just something I'm noticing that isn't actually there?
I think a large chunk of it is the fact that they wear those retro jerseys a lot that just say Wolves on them, whereas back in like the Kevin Garnett era, they were wearing Timberwolves.
The Timberwolves. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
With the trees on the
With the trees on the. Yeah.
trim.
Why don't you say you know what I mean like that?
Did I say it weird?
Are you trying to make that a catchphrase?
No.
Felt like you were forcing it in there.
Apologies.
It's okay.
I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page. Oh, so they have it also? Yeah.
Wolves.
They have it on their banner.
Minnesota. Yeah.
So,
So-
was there a point back in the 90s where they were the Wolves and then they morphed
No.
into the T-Wolves?
I've
and then
always
they-
known them as the Timberwolves.
It was always Timberwolves and T-Wolves. It was never just Wolves. Now it's just Wolves.
Yeah.
Which I don't. T-Wolves.
What year did the Timberwolves start?
All right, hold on.
What year was that franchise?
I believe 88, 89, and 89, 90. I think the Magic and Heat were first, and then the T-Wolves and the who'd they come in with? The T-Wolves and the Magic and Heat and the T-Wolves. God damn you. Oh, fuck. I won't say 88, 89, or 89, 90. Magic and Heat, and then the T-Wolves and the
Mm-hmm. You're close.
Hornets.
Hornets?
It's Hornets.
Yeah.
It's
I said it
Hornets.
first,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, you saw it,
You checked the tape.
but you saw it in
If
my
you
mind.
check the tape, I think you'll notice that I said
But you
it
saw it in my mind. You saw the Hornet
I
buzzer.
saw it, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What year was that? 88, 89, or 89, 90, or somewhere in there.
Hornets Heat was 88, and then Timberwolves Magic was 89.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I thought the Magic and Heat came in together, but that would make sense to stagger the Florida.
So if they're wearing throwback uniforms that say Wolves, that would suggest that when they were wearing those uniforms in the first place, they were Wolves. So maybe they were always Wolves.
Uh-huh.
Maybe they were Wolves from the start.
That's what I was getting at.
Because how
I
could
don't
you
know.
have throwback jerseys.
What if they're
with
just
the
throwback
new- with the new
inspired?
branding.
What if they're just throwback inspired, where they go back to the old scheme, but not necessarily the same wordage or verbiage? Wordage, not a word, right?
When did the Knicks lose the Bockers? Did they ever have?
Have they
Bockers?
officially lost the Bockers?
When did they ever have the Bockers?
They were always just the Knicks, but it was short. Are the New York Mets still short for Metropolitans, or is that just Mets? Or is that their official name?
Official name is Mets,
Okay.
but I
Started out as Metropolitan.
yeah.
Were they ever known as the Metropolitans, or was it just one? Is it one of those deals where you name your kid a thing, but you call them by the nickname the second they're born, but their official name is
Mhm.
something else? Is that how the Knicks and Mets are?
I don't know. Are the Knicks officially the Knicks, or are they still the New York Knickerbockers?
They're the Knicks.
That didn't feel official the way you
I
said
didn't
that.
feel. Yeah. We have the two worst Googlers.
Yeah.
I'm looking right now.
Ebo, what are you
Googlers,
looking at on your
Googlers.
screen right now?
I am looking at what is the
What's a Knickerbocker?
Yes, I'm looking at I'm reading up on the history of the team.
Now, please tell me what a Knickerbocker is.
I'm still working on that.
You have a giant article in front of your face.
This is.
This is more about the story.
We'll do it.
of-
We'll do it, guys.
Yep.
The Knickerbocker comes from the pseudonym used by Washington Irving in his book A History of New York that came descendants of the original. Okay, that was all boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, New Yorkers.
Yeah,
Okay.
It became.
TJ, since we're here, can you just go ahead and I got some questions. Can you throw up a picture of Mark Titus in his costume last night? I was unable to attend the Yak
Mm-hmm.
Jerry After Dark Clue game. I was driving. I'm aware of Clue culturally. I've never seen people dress up to play Clue. Why did you guys?
I have
dress
no
up?
idea. I was given that costume and told to put it on, and
How did you get you? So did you draw for French Maid or?
I had my understanding is I had a dentist appointment yesterday that I had to leave the Yak early, and I think they drafted the costumes after that. And then I got the worst costume because I wasn't there for the draft, and it was like 4 sizes too small.
Now, did you already have that, or is that something they provided for you?
Well, the one I had, that's what I was saying. This one was too small. It was
Okay.
frustrating because the one I have fits a little better. So if I would have known, I would have brought my own. It would have fit better. Yeah, I was confused by the characters too because I thought we were trying to do like we had mustard.
Yeah. Somebody was
then-
ketchup. Somebody was mustard.
I thought we were gonna be it was funny because like all the character names were just made up. It was like Paulie Purple
Mm-hmm.
and I was Carl the maid or something. But the Nick's name was Colonel Mustard. So like we still had one official name. So I was trying to figure out who are the Clue characters. There is one that's like a little slutty, right? Is that
Maybe,
right?
I don't know.
I remember one being
I never played Clue in my entire life. Had you ever played?
yeah, I mean when I 20 years ago.
Yeah.
We played growing up, yeah, but I haven't played in a while.
Oh. Well, Doug says I was just going to send him a note thanking you all and how well I was treated by all.
So I
of
was
you.
right. So my read on Doug was exactly
Yeah. So
Exactly.
it turns out he is a gentleman, and I'm just a piece of shit.
yeah. It was exactly right. Let me see here. Miss Peacock. I think Miss Peacock was a hot
Mrs.
one.
White,
Go
Mr.
to the-
Green, Miss Peacock.
Oh no,
Professor
Miss
Plum.
Scarlet. Miss Scarlet is
Yeah.
Miss Scarlet's the dime.
Oh,
Mrs. White.
she is a dime.
Yeah, Miss Scarlet's the hot one. Yeah. Mrs. Peacock, Mrs. White, Mr. Green. So I guess I was Mrs. White. Is that who I was supposed to be? But that was Kyle. KB was.
Yeah. So were you Mrs. Peacock? No, you were definitely the hot one, right? You were in a French maid outfit.
Yeah.
So you were Miss Scarlet, who's typically portrayed as young, cunning, and attractive. Did you feel cunning?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, a femme fatale. Is that the term?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. White, usually a frazzled servant.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's who Mark was.
I was Mrs. White, a frazzled servant, and was a cook and housekeeper, originally known as Nurse White. Yeah, but Kyle was in the white.
Kyle was a wife. Kyle was a bride. This
Yeah.
is Mrs. White is a a housemaid.
But you understand the confusion when
For sure.
he's wearing all
My
white.
confusion is who did Lucas want to be in the costume? Because he was kind of like, oh, I bought the costumes for specific people.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Who did he? There was 2 sexy female outfits.
right. I don't know. I don't know.
I like the idea that Lucas looked at the cast and decided you were the sexiest female out of the whole group.
Yeah,
So you got that going for you.
yeah. It was fun.
Are you a finesse bitch guy?
I'm a finesse bitch Clue player. I'm not a gritty Clue player.
Can I see the group photo again? I kind of. Yeah, the costumes all over the map. Ketchup,
Yeah,
mustard. Is Che a? Well, I don't know what
He
Che
was
is.
Lucky leprechaun.
I don't know why we just didn't stick with the Clue costumes.
Jerry's
find
just
it.
purple.
He
Yeah,
was-
Jerry is just purple. He was just purple. I think his name was just purple.
Big Cat was just blue, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
And they gave him a Care Bear.
It was fun. I had a good time last night. That was a fun stream. The Panthers and Blubman's not here today. He told me that he was I think he's in Albuquerque doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he I watched the end of that Panthers Rangers game last night because we were finishing up Clue and then we were in the cave. And
Yeah.
I promised him that I'd give him a hat tip. He called this. He's called everything about this series except blood on the glass.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is.
Have we checked the glass? There could be blood there.
We have not had blood yet, but there's still 3 games left, probably. According to Bloodman, there will be 3 games left. I forget what order. I forget who he said is going to win Game 5 now. But I think he said the Rangers are going to win Game 7.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I don't even remember. But
He had the Rangers in 7. Yeah.
but he's been spot on except for the blood on the glass. There were 2 fights at the same time. He did call that. You remember he said that at the beginning of the series? He's like, there are going to be fights. And I said 1 or 2, and he said 2 at the same time. And then there was the one game where there were 2 separate fights going on at the same time.
One of the frustrating things watching hockey sometimes is when a team gets on the power play and just isn't aggressive or doesn't seem like they have a plan. They're just kind of dinking and dunking. The Panthers got on that power play in overtime and went straight to it. Just a perfectly executed. It looked like they did it all the time.
So here's a hockey take that every hockey person watching this is going to want my head on a spike, and they're going to say, "Shut the fuck up! Never talk about hockey again. I hate your guts." And
Okay.
I'm going to say that seems pretty extreme for like a pretty mild suggestion that I threw out there, but okay, I guess. You ready?
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this now because Blutman's not here, and if he was here, he would burst through the door and try to kill me.
Burst through the door. In his way, he would burst through the door.
Yeah.
Which was slowly and deliberately
So,
open the
yeah,
door
yeah.
and wander in.
Yeah. Yes. I don't like the intermissions in overtime. I don't like overtime intermissions. It takes me out of it.
So,
Again,
Agreed.
I know that people are gonna be mad at me for that, but the second a game goes to overtime, not the second, but like I want hockey overtime to be like every other sport, where it's like, all right, we have a tie game. Now everybody go to your bench, get a swig of water, talk it over. We're gonna reset real quick. Maybe the Zamboni comes out for 5 minutes or so, but a 20-minute intermission, Brandon, and then after overtime, another 20-minute intermission.
well, they're playing at a high stress threshold, and you got to take a break every now and then, right? They just played.
Well, how is
60,
that different
They
than
just played
every other?
60 minutes.
How is that different than every other sport, though?
Yeah, well, I mean, overtime hockey in regular season, and I understand why they don't do it in postseason, but overtime hockey in regular season is just so fucking thrilling, and they get right to it. So I get it. I get the urge to get right to it, but you gotta let the guys go tape up some wounds and get ready
No,
for.
that's soft.
No, it's soft.
That underscores the entire premise of hockey players being the toughest guys on earth. Where it's like, we're going to need a 20-minute break.
Everybody needs a break every now and then.
No other sport does that. No other sport does that.
I'm going to be taking a 10-minute break right now.
This feels like more of an issue of like Zamboni innovation, right?
Is that what it is?
I think
they
so,
got to redo
because
the
if
ice?
you ever go to a hockey game, the Zamboni goes so slow around the ice, and I get maybe the whatever film or layer they put on
Yeah.
has to ice up and
Explain to me
become
how a
solid.
Zamboni works. Even.
I have no
wanna hear-
idea.
I want to hear your.
My understanding is that it's like a giant like air
I have-
conditioning
I have a
unit on the
guess.
back.
I have a
that-
guess.
I have a guess too.
I have a guess. Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
when skates skate around, they cut up the ice and create ridges and everything. And Zamboni comes through and sucks up all the shavings and shaves it and smooths it out.
It's not a bad guess. My guess is it actually is melting the top of the ice and then refreezing it so that way it smooths back out. You're melting to get rid of the divots, so you like melt it down to a level, and then it has to refreeze to like get back to, because it'll refreeze back on a level, and
But
it
what's
won't have all
making it
the skate-
refreeze?
I don't know. There's something in the Zamboni, like they melt it and then they nuke it with
I think you shave it.
ice cold shot. Maybe they put ice cold shots of Jägermeister on top of it. Maybe that's what it is.
You shave it and you get it looking nice and clean.
No, are we still
Then
talking
they all
about
cut it up.
Are we still talking about the ice or?
I'm not talking about pussies.
Okay.
Pussies or faces?
No. That's what.
Okay. So yeah, you shave it, then you come by, you sweep it clean, and they go mess it up again. Yes, Connor?
Connor, you go.
I prefer not to know. I just much rather.
Oh, you have to.
No.
You have to guess.
I'd much rather let the magic of the Zamboni be the magic of the
No,
Zamboni.
They say never meet your heroes, and right now I'm about to meet one of my heroes, the Zamboni.
I don't
would
want to
prefer-
know.
Connor, right now, what's a Zamboni do?
I'm not telling you. I'm just going to sit there and bask in how awesome it is.
Why can't we do 2 Zambonis?
Some do. Some do.
So then why does it take 20 minutes?
Okay, you're right. I don't think the Zamboni's the thing.
Why
It
don't we
is-
do one
a-
giant Zamboni? Why
It is a great point that the
Where's it gonna
Zamboni,
fit?
the Zamboni was invented in like 1971, and we have not touched it at all. There have not been any, like,
What is the use case
it is
for
the
a
exact
Zamboni
same
out of
machine
hockey?
as it was.
What is the use case for a Zamboni outside of like a hockey event? Is there a does-
ice skating.
Is there?
Yeah. I don't know.
I
You feel like, they should be able to.
That should be in the X Games.
Why don't they Zamboni?
guys, you guys are right. Now I think about it. If you went to a hockey game, if you time traveled to 1972 and went to a hockey game, that Zamboni would look and sound and feel the exact same
It's the
way.
exact same. There have not been any innovations, and I don't know what the innovations are supposed to be. I just feel like most things evolve
Lasers.
over time. They don't. The Zambonis don't seem to evolve. It seems like they perfected.
Lasers from the ceiling, and they sweep the ice and they go across.
like one of those like satisfying videos
Yeah.
where they like peel the metal off or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Lasers.
Yeah, I like that.
I do think you're right, though, Ebo. That's probably more so than any other reason. That's probably why they have to have a break for overtime, is to redo the ice, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't take the full 20 minutes. That bitch-ass Jake Malasek just and he's saying, well, you have to Zamboni the ice, bro. It's unplayable after a full period. I'm like, we get that, but that doesn't take the full 20 minutes, does it?
No,
I don't
The
think so.
regular
That's
season, they
Yeah.
don't. They don't.
they don't. So why don't they do that? Yeah.
Why don't they just have all the people that come out and shovel the ice all the time come out and shovel the ice very quickly with like really, really sharp shovels?
because that's not as effective as the Zambona.
But they skate right around. They're done in 2
They,
minutes.
they do that though. They have they have the, don't they, with the shovels? Aren't there?
How come every time we talk hockey, we try to fix hockey? I don't think hockey's that broken.
I'm not trying to fix hockey. I'm trying to tweak hockey. I'm trying to
What if instead of
fix it. I'm just
a big Zamboni
So he's going to do this.
that's slow, what if they had 5 small Zambonis that were really fast?
Yeah.
really
and
fast.
They had them race around.
Race
the court,
around. Yeah.
and whoever
What-
covered the most distance
Yeah.
was the Zamboni
Any
champion.
miscommunication, though, you're going to have a Zamboni wreck. Now you
Which
got a
would
bigger
be
problem.
awesome.
And that would
Zamboni
be-
going through
There's
the glass.
fights on the ice. In
And that would
hockey
that
every
would
game,
that would
it's
at
the
least
best
be
part.
that would be entertainment too
Yes.
during the intermission, because
Yes.
like that's part of the problem is you're sitting there for 20 minutes
Yes.
waiting for the game to.
But
Each team,
I think-
each team has 3 Zamboni drivers on their roster. In between each period, 2 of those Zamboni drivers are voted by the others to race each other to see who can cover the most ice in the fastest amount of time.
Yeah. And they're driven by babies.
Put ads on all of them if they're afraid about the sponsors, and they're driven by.
And they're driven by babies. Or animals.
quarry
One
or something.
is
whatever-
one is a chimpanzee driving.
Whatever your
One-
mascot is, that has to drive your.
So one is driven by a mascot, one is a chimpanzee, the rest are babies.
I guarantee you, people would watch this.
Yeah, dude.
What if we just turned it into like a hot dog race? And it was just like, yeah.
I don't know. I think somewhere deep down in there, I was making a point that I like hockey, which is why with the second the clock hits 0 at the end of the third period and it's tied, I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's fucking go. I want to see overtime now. And then they're like, all right, in 20 minutes, we're going to toss it back to the studio. They're going to talk for 20 minutes. and then we'll get to the action, and that just takes me out of it. I want it to be right away. And hockey people are disagreeing. Hockey people are going to disagree because
Well, you know why? The ice is unplayable. They got
the ice is unplayable.
They got a Zamboni it.
Well, yesterday sucked too, watching it in the cave, because we were all jazzed up, obviously, as you said, for overtime, and we wait 20 minutes, and then we get, I forget when the goal was scored, but it was early into
It was
the
like right
overtime.
away. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a minute and 5 seconds.
Yeah, and the TV went out during the goal. So TV goes black,
Yeah.
it comes back on, and all of a sudden the Panthers had scored. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, we waited just 20 minutes to miss the goal.
Yeah.
Sucked.
Yeah,
Bluntman.
Brandon.
Do you want
Are
to know
they
how
gonna-
Zambonis work? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, Connor,
Connor,
leave,
leave
Connor,
the
leave the room.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear this. This is
It's gonna be tough.
this is gonna be very tough for you to hear.
Y'all want to talk about his mom?
Dude, do I?
I mean,
We're not going to find
talk
out
about
how
a
Zamboni
Zamboni.
who cares about his
Yeah,
Zamboni?
yeah.
Zamboni,
Yeah.
dude.
Okay. A blade shaves a thin layer from the surface of the ice. This is a lot of steps. After an auger gathers the shavings, a vertical screw propels them into the snow tank. Okay.
Yeah.
So they shave the ice, they pick up the shavings, they throw it in the tank. Water is fed from a wash water tank to the conditioner, which rinses the ice. So they're now cleaning the ice.
Connor.
Clean water from the ice is delivered.
The
making a
puck
giant
frozen by
snow
a
cone.
towel pulled across the ice behind the conditioner.
So they're shaving the ice and then cleaning the ice.
they're recycling the ice, basically. The ice goes in, melts, comes back out as water, which
Water.
moves across the top and then refreezes as like a top layer.
So
Kind of what you said.
we were both right. It was kind of a mixture of what the two of us said.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Huh.
And we can't make that go faster.
You think we
Yeah,
can
what's the slow part?
you think we can get her to visit
Yeah. Yeah, we can.
again? Because I mean, she came out last year, but
Yeah, I only got a little peek to be completely honest.
yeah,
I'd like to.
didn't certainly didn't get enough. It could have been better. So listen, if you're watching, Connor's mom, your son is homesick. He's lonely. He needs a parent to come out here and visit
Yeah.
in the studio.
In the studio, yeah. Come.
And we have no air conditioning in the studio. So it's gonna be hot.
Tell us about Perry Ellis.
Okay.
Go get Connor.
Perry Ellis, work ready, play ready. Perry Ellis, always ready. Perry Ellis is an iconic American fashion and lifestyle brand with global reach that includes, you're not going to believe it, Connor. I don't want to know. You're not going to believe it.
Yeah, it's stunning.
There's
It's,
a little guy inside.
There's a little,
it's absolutely stunning.
yeah, there's a polar bear. Perry Ellis is an iconic American fashion and lifestyle brand with a global reach that includes a full range of categories spanning sportswear, fragrance, watches, footwear, and more. Designed with real life in mind so it moves better, it cleans easier, it travels well, and it goes the distance. Perry Ellis is versatile, optimistic, fresh, effortless, and inclusive. Made for today's modern man, this versatile lifestyle collection of American sportswear marries design and performance with product attributes including four-way stretch, resist spill, machine washable, and many more. Perry Ellis allows our guy to be ready for any situation, travel well, and go the distance. Shop now at perryellis.com. All right. There's another sports topic we got to talk about, but I got to say this. So I was at my mama's house the other day, and she's old, and she be watching things. Anyway, I get there. She's binging a show on Netflix. She's in the first season. I sit down for a little bit. Now I'm binging this show. As soon as I got home last night, I had to watch one. Y'all ever seen White Collar?
Mm-mm.
White Collar?
Nope.
It seems like last year everybody was on Suits. When Suits hit Netflix and Peacock, everybody was on Suits. White Collar, about the same, a little bit better. White Collar, somebody check out White Collar with me. Anybody want to watch White Collar with me?
What's happening?
Are you saying this
Connor,
is next
what's-
up?
Could be. It came out in 2009, went off in 2014. It was a USA show. USA didn't get
Connor,
enough
what's
credit for all the
Connor, what's
shows.
happening?
Burn notice?
I don't know.
What's he doing?
I'm just saying. Do you? What?
It's like he's trying to start a book club, but
Yeah, for
Right.
a show
TV
that
shows,
went
yeah.
off the air 10 years ago.
I know, but you can binge it now. You can watch it all in one. Anybody want to watch it with me?
I don't know. I'm kind of watching Dark Matter on Apple TV right now. I'm kind of occupied.
I'm watching Maxton Hall on Amazon. It sucks.
I'm binging Top Gun Maverick right now.
Connor?
I also watched some Top Gun Maverick this weekend, but I watched the Inside the NBA 4-part documentary series on HBO Max over the weekend too. It was very
I didn't realize that
Oh.
existed.
yeah. It came out for their 30th anniversary a couple years ago, and they give a whole inside look. It's called the Inside Story. Get it? But they give a whole inside look.
So they're getting an inside look at inside the. So
Yes.
they're double inside.
Yes. So they show.
So some would call that double penetration.
Yeah, it's a little DP. But no, they show you everybody behind the scenes and what goes into the show and the history. It was really, really good. I enjoyed it. 4 episodes.
I've actually been binge watching Bill Walton content. That's what I've been
Yeah.
Yeah.
watching the last couple of days. I'll click on any video that pops up and watch.
I feel like
about that guy.
I feel like there's been, and rightfully so, there's been a lot of memories about his announcing and clips about when he would say stuff. You ever get to watch him as a basketball player much? You ever go back and watch?
Yeah. I mean, I'll watch clips. Like that's one of the things that was awesome about him is like his legacy endured and for a generation that never saw him play.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, like he was.
He
Because
was-
he's on the '86 Celtics,
That's
obviously,
yeah.
and he at that point in his career he was, and he says as much, like the Celtics saved his life because he was like broken down and
Yeah.
way past his prime, and
He played like
it was-
12 minutes
yeah,
and just passed the
and
ball.
unsure if he was ever going to play basketball again, and that was 1986, Brandon. So like his prime was so long ago, and yet I do think that. I don't know. I'll speak for all us youngsters here in the room, all of us that are of a similar age, the 4 of us. That
I don't.
I think that Walton's legacy as a player endured, right? For all of us, like we know how good he is.
Yeah, that's fine. I think there's
Yeah.
3 layers of age in here. I think like those 3,
It's the 4 of us.
those 3 right there, Ebo, Connor, and TJ, probably in one group age-wise. I'm at the other end on the spectrum, on the top end. I think you have your own little segment there in the middle.
That can't be right. I think we're all youngsters, young fellas.
So you're saying there's one old guy and then everybody else in here is equally as young?
Yeah, we're all about the same age. I mean, it's like obviously we're not all born at the exact same time, so some of us are going to be
Ebo,
older than
how?
others, but it's like it's
what?
a marginal difference.
How old are
really.
you,
I'm 27.
Connor?
24.
TJ?
27.
Age is a number, man. Age is just a number. Age is I'm this I'm that old.
We do.
Speaking of being old,
Oh.
what
Are you gonna talk about being?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah.
You can go ahead. I don't want to steal your show.
I have a.
Ebo ruined my morning by
What'd you do?
showing me the clip of
There's a
Anthony
really
Edwards.
really bad clip for Mark of
Oh,
Anthony
yeah,
Edwards
yeah.
at the press conference
Yeah.
last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe Mike Conley hasn't arrived yet. What'd he say? Mike Conley's old as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a tough.
You're around Mike Conley's age, right?
Yeah, I'm older than Mike Conley
Uh-huh.
by a few months actually, so that one was tough.
Yeah.
Here, Anthony Edwards.
Over here, y'all. Y'all got any questions for Mike? Y'all want to ask me about Mike? Nobody want to ask me about Mike? Bye.
How about Mike, especially in the first half? It seemed like he really
Is old as fuck.
It's just so unnecessary.
and he was getting downhill, laying the ball up. So shout out to Bite. And he coming in here with these clown pants on. So y'all about to see him in a minute. But that's my OG. That's my point guard. He played great tonight, and I
Anthony
couldn't
Edwards
ask
is
nothing more from him.
enjoying the
So
shit
thank
out
you,
of
Mike
all
Conley.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Complete. This is why Mike Conley is teammate of the year, though. Like complete role. I mean, I guess when Anthony Edwards, when you're the star of the team, you can get away with it. But Anthony Edwards, like being a young guy and just absolutely clowning on the veteran,
Yeah.
feels like that's a departure from how it's usually supposed to work. But Mike Conley's a nice guy, so let's the youngsters. It's a fun word to say, youngsters.
Leadership. Youngsters. You 3.
Is that an insulting term or an endearing term? The way you're.
I think it's neither insulting nor endearing.
It's just.
I'm not trying to insult you, nor am I trying to indicate that I like you at all.
Mm.
You're just younger than me, so you're youngsters.
What about kid? Like if you
Well,
were to
kid
call
can
me
be
a kid,
demeaning. Well, how would I do it? I was like
sup kid?
And then what? And then what's the next? Like he takes your order at a restaurant.
don't make me
or-
a sandwich, kid. So like, that would be bad.
Yeah.
Or how
But
was your weekend,
that's more
kid?
the go make me a sandwich part, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, kid
The
can, but kid can go on the end of a mean sentence or a nice.
But what if I'm like, Brandon? We gotta do something for Connor. I mean, he's such a good kid.
This kid right here. Yeah.
He's such a good kid, and he does so much for us. We gotta, like, that seems nice, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's a good kid.
We gotta find out who his favorite prepubescent pop star is,
There's so many.
and send him there.
There's so many.
Are Tate McRae tickets on sale yet?
2 minutes.
Yeah, he's sitting on the page right now.
I'm waiting to buy Tate McRae
I
tickets
think
as we speak.
TJ should try to race Connor.
No. I see. This
buy,
is
buy him before Connor can get him.
Yeah. So we gotta, in 2 minutes, we have to distract the shit out of
Connor,
no.
Where's she coming? Where?
I don't know how much I should reveal because then.
we could Google that in 5 seconds.
No, well, I'd much
Where's
rather
she,
have
she's
people.
coming to Chicago, or are you going to see her?
I don't know. I don't know.
I guarantee you were competing with the 0 of the viewers for the
Right.
But I don't. Yeah. Sometimes people they fuck around, and I this is a very big deal.
Yeah, one of our listeners is going to buy 18,000 just to fuck with you.
It's anyway.
What watching right now is like, yeah, I'm going to buy every single Tate McRae ticket just as a prank. Connor Griffin.
I was thinking about this on the way in. Because she is coming to Chicago. There's a non-zero chance we could get Tate McRae. Like, I'd say like a 10% chance we could get Tate McRae in this office. Maybe 5%.
Not if you keep behaving.
Yeah,
the
not
way
like
you've been.
this.
Hey, this is not the way to do it.
She's a sports fan, hockey fan. Maybe she pops on the show. I don't know.
She's got a bad name.
Oh,
Shoot your shot into the camera.
No, I gotta order tickets right now.
Can I just say, I don't want to be controversial. I don't know much about Tate McRae at all. That's a bad name. Like, I don't picture a starlet when
No.
you say Tate McRae.
She's Oklahoma State's backup quarterback.
Yeah. Tell her I said that when you talk to her. Tell her.
Yeah.
Make a sign and go to her concert and just say, I think she should change her name.
And
Sounds-
and send her a picture of him in the French maid outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Say, this is what we're about.
Well,
Have you missed it?
no, we're less than 1 minute away.
You actually, I
She
need.
could.
Can you go out?
And I'll get put into the queue.
Should bring her into the office and I'll host a podcast with her. And we'll talk about basketball. And
Okay.
yeah,
Just never
I
knew
think
there
that
were
would-
this many Tates in
Yeah,
the world.
just every Tate in the world. I just line them up and
That could play.
sit them across from me.
If you did Titus and Tate with a different Tate every show,
That would be,
you think
I
you
just do a show called Titus and Tate.
just run out of
The-
material in
The
in
guest
3 weeks?
host changes every single week. Yeah.
So more sports. Major League Baseball announced yesterday they're incorporating the stats from the Negro Leagues back in the 30s and 40s, or even further back than that, meaning we have some new record holders, we have some new whatever. Fun fact about me, I was fascinated with the Negro Leagues back in high school and college. I used to do papers about them.
Yeah.
I love Josh Gibson. And Cool Papa Bell. Cool Papa Bell from Starkville, Mississippi. So a lot of people are either upset because MLB, and I don't even think it's about race, MLB nerds are just really protective over their statistics.
Yeah.
And it is too easy to go online and just boil it down to race and say, oh, these people are mad, these people are happy, whatever. Forget about that. MLB guys are very, very protective of their statistics, and now it is kind of being infringed upon. But that's what's happening.
My thought is I don't like it less because of that and more because it feels like you're undoing the bullshit that you did in the past, which is like however many years ago you said,
Yeah.
you guys go over there
Mhm.
and we're going to stay here and we're going to break this up. And obviously that's fucked up that all happened. And then now you're trying to pretend like that didn't happen by saying
Yeah.
you were always
Yeah.
we were all in one
We were
pot
watching
the whole
the
time.
numbers.
We
Yeah.
were all in the same group together the whole time. And I feel like that kind of undermines the Negro Leagues.
From a baseball
I-
perspective, I don't like them combining the stats because it was a separate league, and looking back, I think baseball would do itself a disservice if it ignored what it did for so long, right?
Yeah.
Like it did that up until 1947. It's a black mark on the history of the game, but it happened. You did it.
That's what I mean. You
You
can't-
need to
you
give
can't
them
now,
their
like,
spotlight without doing exactly
Right.
what you say, without bringing them in and saying, "See, it was fine."
Yeah.
We're counting their numbers
yeah.
just the same. Ha ha.
Yeah.
Like, no, you didn't, and you're not now. You're just kind of trying to and trying to right a wrong that I don't think this is the way to write it.
I think you could do it like by, like at the Hall of Fame or whatever display you want to have, like have them side by side or something. Like, but to pretend like it was always one when that was very much not the case, and in fact, that's the whole reason.
Yeah,
that's the whole reason certain guys like Jackie Robinson is so celebrated is because, for so long you said that these are not the same.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to now be like, no, we were kidding. That whole thing,
psych,
dude. You come on over. Yeah, you could be part of our record books. So, I think they're, I don't like trying to pretend like that all didn't happen. But I don't know. I think maybe it's well intentioned, so that's nice, I guess. But yeah.
How are the nerds taking it, Ebo?
I think how you're describing it, they feel like the record books are being completely rewritten. And I agree with Titus about like the sense of like they're kind of almost covering their tracks to an extent.
Yeah.
It also feels late. Like you do this in 1990, you still got some of the guys alive. I think we've lost pretty much all of them. Buck O'Neil was one that lived for a very, very, very long time, but we've lost him. I think it's all posthumous at this point.
Yeah, it feels like a weird thing where like in an attempt to preserve, or like on the surface they're attempting to preserve history, they're actually erasing their history. Like
yeah.
Like
because you're baking their history into
the
MLB, which is very separate thing.
Yeah,
and like you're gonna, I see a world where like however long like my kids might misunderstand what it would like they might believe that like the Negro League teams played in MLB.
It was like American National.
Yeah,
American
it was like
National
the
League,
Negro League team. Like we made all the black players play on these specific teams, but they would still play in MLB or I don't know, and that's not at all what happened actually.
I got an idea of how to fix it. Now we're gonna need a lot. We're gonna need a cornfield.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna need a farmer who's willing to plow under his corn, build a baseball field.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna need some ghosts.
That's the hard part, I think.
We're going to need a voice actor. And we're going to need a state where this could happen. I don't know, like Iowa or something. And what's going to happen is we're going to take all the ghosts of the Major League players from back then and the Negro League players, and we're going to put them in the cornfield. But they're not in the cornfield. They're actually in heaven. But sometime when it gets dusk, they come out of the heaven into the cornfield and go play baseball. And then we'll keep the stats on that.
Okay.
In Field of Dreams, when she said, if you build it, they will come, right?
Uh-huh.
No. She said, people will come. And then Terrence Mann at the end said, people will come, Ray. And she's talking about people will come, give us money, and they'll be. She did that at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Uh-huh.
At the end of the movie, which is the same scene, the Ray Kinsella and his dad are playing catch. And there's a line of cars all the way into the horizon coming to the place.
Mm-hmm.
How'd they know? Did she go on the internet?
I think it's clear that Kevin Costner's in a coma and he's just dreaming the whole movie. I think that's pretty obvious. And I think
what?
I think the whole thing was a dream.
What put him in a coma?
I think he set out to build the Field of Dreams and he had an accident.
dropped a light on his head.
Yeah. I don't know. There were a lot of.
Well, as
it turns out, the movie about the ghost coming out of the cornfield and playing baseball. There are a lot of logical inconsistencies.
I just realized the actual movie is called Field of Fucking Dreams.
Yeah, it's literally dreams. Yeah, he's asleep the whole time. Yeah, take a second. Take a second. Damn.
Have you got the Tate McRae tickets yet?
I'm not getting these fucking tickets.
Damn, dude.
This man is deep in the queue.
What's going on?
So I think this venue, it's not an official concert. It's like an after party after Lollapalooza. I think this venue only fits 1,800 people. I got in the queue. There were 18,000 people waiting ahead of me.
I'm 34,000.
Yeah. There's no way this is happening. But I'm going to stay in it. I'm going to.
Why don't you just go to Lollapalooza?
I don't know if that's not really my scene.
Uncle Mark and Uncle Brandon will buy me tickets.
No.
Yeah,
What do you think I'm doing?
Here we go.
There will be no tickets available.
I don't need to worry about.
Yeah, there's definitely no tickets on the secondary market. That's just
Uncle Mark and Uncle Brandon will.
Guess what?
swoop in
Come on
and
in.
we'll have to-
Who else do you want to see?
Save
Is there
the
another?
day.
No, this is not.
because I can just.
Is there another 19-year-old pop star
I got
you
them
have
in
to
the
see?
palm of my hand.
19.
If I just say that every 19-year-old is my favorite.
No,
they'll
no,
just
I
give me
will
tickets
never
to every-
support Sabrina Carpenter. Never.
Why?
Yes.
Yeah, I think TJ knows the story. There's a pop star named Sabrina Carpenter who went to summer camp and was best friends with my bully in elementary school. So therefore, I can never support her.
Wait, what? I thought this was gonna be Olivia Rodrigo related. It's
No,
not?
that's
Okay, that's
Hold on.
crazy.
Hold on. Hold on.
First part of that.
Hold on. What? Hold on. Say this again.
Separately,
I want to
also
understand this.
Knows the Blutmans.
Yes, that too.
Yeah,
Although I cleared it with Liam.
Blutman went to like Disneyland growing up with this girl.
I
With Sabrina Carpenter is her name.
Because she was on, I believe, Girl Meets World.
She
which
was,
is
yeah.
The reboot of Boy Meets World where they're
Now,
adults.
this Sabrina Carpenter, who's now a pop star, she was. Say this again.
she went to summer camp
She went to a summer camp.
with and was really good friends with the person who bullied me in elementary school.
All right, well, let's unpack
when I
this.
say bullying-
Hold on. Let's unpack this one by one. Let's describe the nature of the bullying.
It was not bullying in the sense that like I was like hating my life or anything. It was just consistent like
What was the thing the bully would say to you?
it was mean, like nastiness. Sometimes it did turn a little bit like physical, and I could.
Nice.
I'm digging myself into a hole here. It was a girl bully. I might as well just get it out of the way now.
I'm not gonna say what type of bully it was.
It was a girl.
It was a girl bully.
It was a girl who had a crush on me, and I didn't know how to.
It was an Arnold Helga situation.
I didn't know how to handle like. I'm not gonna like beat this girl up. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Fuck her, dude.
I was in first grade.
She had a giant crush on you.
She wanted to hold your hand.
I found that out.
This girl had a crush on you when you were 7.
Yes.
And to this day, you're 24 motherfucking years old. 17 years ago, this girl was mean to you a couple times, and now you're making life decisions based on this of her friends?
Yes. Yeah.
You don't like Sabrina Carpenter because one of her friends was in love with you. Is basically what.
In first goddamn
and
grade.
didn't
No.
know how to- and didn't know how to express it.
This was years, Brandon. This was years where yeah, she wanted to hold hands on the playground, but instead
Well, did this girl end up hot?
I don't know. I don't want to say it on air. I don't know if
So
she's
no. Okay.
watching.
Okay. All right.
Oh. But anyway, it was like I didn't know how to handle like there's
Were you
like throwing shit at me, like drawing. She'd get marker and like draw on my shirt and shit. And I'm like, well, I really like this shirt now. I can't wear it anymore. Like that type of shit.
That seems fine.
Stealing food, like random shit
it,
like
it
that.
does seem annoying, but also
And so yeah, it
They were 7. Everything was annoying.
but it went on. It was
yeah, that it's fair point.
repeatedly. And anyway, so it went on for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found out after the fact that, oh, yeah, it was just because she liked me and wanted to, cuddle. And I was like, oh, okay. But it didn't change the fact that for first grade through fourth grade, yeah, she was mean.
Would it ever occur to you to call a girl who was mean to you a bully?
No, dude.
That was just for the storytelling.
No, you were.
I don't actually.
You were not telling a story, but you said you led with bully. If we hadn't pried a little bit, we still think it was a dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Which like I was starting to feel bad for you. I was like
No,
I kind of want to make fun of Connor for this, but also I don't know. That's probably traumatic, and there's
No, that's why I said it wasn't traumatic. I
don't know. I don't want to pick on you too much. Yeah, if there's an asshole kid at school, that does suck, and man, that's a bummer, dude. And then you're like, yeah, it was a girl who was in love with me.
I don't.
That is.
I have no ill will against Sabrina Carpenter. I just said
You
that.
just said I will never support her
I
at
say,
all.
I say it jokingly. I don't actually care. Just like I don't care how this girl, now looking back, was like mean.
Have you reached out to? Have you like?
Yeah, we
I think
talked.
the girl who bullied you.
Not in a while, but like occasionally.
Have you gone on
Over
a date
social
with her?
media.
I feel like you got
No.
to try that just
Yeah.
for
No.
the rom com
No,
part of it all.
never did.
You got to bully her.
That could be a what if, dude.
And then Sabrina
You should-
Carpenter performs at the wedding.
Connor, if the way to handle this is you reach out to her, you ask her on a date, you hit it off with her, you guys have great chemistry. You're slow playing it, but like you're laughing. Even on the first date, you're like, ha ha ha, wouldn't this be funny if we ended up together? And given the history of all this, but then sparks slowly start flying, and you slowly start building some chemistry, and then you get to a point where like you go to ask her to be official, but then you pull the rug out from under and call her a fat cunt. You're a fat, ugly cunt.
Yeah, the
And then
fat
you walk
cunt
away.
playbook. He's right.
You say you're a fat, ugly cunt, and then you walk away from her, and you get all your revenge for first grade.
You're wearing a Tate McRae shirt.
Yeah, yeah. You rip off your shirt, and there's Tate McRae shirt underneath.
I don't know. I'm not a revenge
That's a
guy.
great-
You two wrongs don't make a right.
You're a bullied by a girl guy.
Well, again, how am I supposed to deal with that when I'm a little kid, and it's a girl who's?
She was also a little kid.
But it's still it's guy girl if it was a fellow dude, then yeah, like you could probably
You'd
have a
fuck
pass.
him?
Then I'd probably fuck him.
No, you probably have a pass to like punch him or do something. But I'm not gonna you can't hit a girl. I don't know. It was a weird situation.
So it was Helga and Arnold and the television cartoon Hey Arnold.
I never watched Hey Arnold, but I imagine so.
She bullied him, but worshipped him also at the same time.
Okay, there you go.
This
So yeah, when I say bully, it's a very loose term. Obviously, there are people who are out there who are really getting bullied, and that's a different story.
So did Lucy bully Charlie Brown? She did with the football. Did she like Charlie Brown too?
I don't know.
she had to like Charlie.
I think she liked Charlie Brown. Now Lucy was Linus's sister.
Yeah.
I think so.
No, I think that's a pretty standard story. There is that the two kids that are.
Nothing is standard about
There.
the fact that we asked him if he liked a pop star,
That's not standard. I'm saying
and it
that
led to this.
girls bullying guys because they're in love with them. Though
Yeah.
that seems to be a trope. And
All right.
You should check out Sabrina
Media.
Carpenter. She's great.
No, I know she's got some good music. I just
JJ Redick is the favorite to be the head coach of the Lakers next season. This is real. This is happening.
Yeah, but why hasn't it happened yet? I feel like we've been dancing this dance for a couple of weeks now. If that's who LeBron wants, why isn't it going ahead and happening? Are they waiting till after everything, after the
They're
finals?
lining up a podcast announcement or something. They're going to announce it on the podcast, and maybe that's what it is.
They're waiting for Stephen Shea's advice on how to do the
Yeah,
podcast.
right. They're going to implement that, and then, that doesn't seem. Is he going to keep all of his Is he going to do what Doug Gottlieb is doing and keep the media career?
So I'm
as he's
gonna
coaching?
go ahead and guess no. I think you can do it when you're the coach of Wisconsin, Green Bay, L.A. Lakers. Probably not as much, right?
You would think not.
I don't think the Lakers coach needs a podcast.
I don't like this move from JJ at all. I don't like it at all. But unless he's going into it knowing if this is serious and he's actually
Yeah.
going to take this job, if he's going into it knowing that he's going to get fired in a year or two, but he's just using it as a springboard to then go back to the podcast and just get more eyeballs and then just be able to say for the rest of his media career, I used to be the coach of the Lakers. That seems kind of smart.
So he does feel
What
like he's breaking through as a media guy, like going from
Yeah.
JJ Redick from Duke to JJ Redick, the basketball media guy. You get a chance to be the coach of the LA Lakers and the things it can do for your career afterwards. I think it's a no-brainer to do it. My question is, LeBron James is the reason he's going to do it, I would assume, right?
Mm-hmm.
That guy's got 2 years left. Is JJ Redick just going to get stuck coaching a bunch of nobodies in a couple of years? Guess he can always walk away.
Which is why, I think he'd have to walk away. It feel like you just said, he's now breaking through in media and like has this empire he's building.
But this would be
to
good.
turn his back on that is crazy to me. But if he's going into the coaching as if it's all a calculated move, which
Yeah.
I guess it probably is.
I think he's just pressing pause, going to up his stature a little bit more, and then come back and press
into
unpause.
it.
Yeah.
So I guess that part makes sense.
Yeah.
Unless it goes horribly wrong and then he's the scapegoat and he gets fired and then everybody that's how it backfires. Is then
Happened to Isaiah Thomas.
4 years from now, he's trying to do podcasts and like do his like I'm smarter than everybody
Yeah.
thing, and he's explaining basketball, and just every comment is just like shut the fuck up, bitch.
We saw you coach.
We saw you coach. You don't know shit.
Yeah.
You ruined the end of LeBron's
Mhm.
career.
And then my nudes in profile.
Yeah, and nudes in profile.
Yeah.
Link in bio.
My pussy in bio.
Pussy in bio.
That one's the most aggressive one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is just hardcore porn on Twitter now, huh?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No subtlety at all. Just right there.
It's just
Is everybody excited about the Moana 2 trailer today? Moana 2 trailer's coming out today.
Mhm.
So it might be out already. I don't know, but
I think it did come out. Yeah.
it did come out.
I think it came out right before the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, now I got to watch the Moana 2 trailer.
Huh.
I don't love the poster because I think they're trying to make that look like it too, and it just doesn't really.
let me see the poster.
So, just to clarify here, you are all in on Moana 2, all out on Inside Out 2. You want no part of Inside
Yes.
Out 2.
Would you like to know why?
Okay.
I don't want to know why.
Close your ears.
I don't want to know why.
Moana was a good movie.
Okay.
Inside Out was trash.
Okay.
So therefore, I'm anticipating Moana 2, and I'm not anticipating the bad one.
Your family comes to you and says, "Dad, we really, 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 really want to go as a family to go see Inside Out 2."
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying no?
I'm saying I will fund whatever you guys want to go.
He's saying-
here's $100. I'm not going.
The Rock is in one of the movies and he's not in the other.
Mhm.
That's basically what it boils down
Mhm.
to. Right?
Okay.
And the one he's in is Moana
Yeah.
2.
Why don't you like Inside Out?
It's just weird, man. It's not made for kids. Pixar started out made for kids. It's not made for kids. It's made for whiny-ass adults trying to get in touch with their feelings. And I just don't – it's just stupid. It's just a bad movie. It's a bad movie. At some point, Pixar stopped making movies for kids and started making them for grown-ass people that just
Mhm.
– for me.
And you are.
Yeah.
Pixar has always been.
I mean, Monsters, Inc. and A Bug's Life were certainly aimed at kids. And then they
They always had like adult themes. They always had like winks at the camera for the adults and everything.
yeah, for the adults taking the kids. I feel like some of them are just now aimed straight to the adults and not even worried about the kids. I don't want to
That's-
see some whiny ass.
You want to see
teenage
kids
girl.
movies. You want to see kids. So Inside Out was above your head, is what you're saying. It was too.
I'm not saying that. I just didn't like it. Didn't enjoy it.
Too adult.
We got that.
It's too adult.
A movie about 13-year-old girls' feelings. Too adult for me.
We got that Moana. 2
Official
trailer,
review from
view-
45-year-old man. This movie was too
mature.
adult. This movie was too mature for me.
I also have a splinter right here,
Oh no.
and I texted my sister who gets things for me. I said, "Can you get me a pen or a needle?" And she went and she got me tweezers. But it's in there. I'm not gonna be able to tweeze this out. So I got a whole lot going on, man. I got a lot going on. Fuck.
They got the Moana has like the what do you call that? The pan flute. What's the one song? It's coming back to me. I was standing by the ocean, then the ocean was the ocean, and then it goes. Right?
That was
Is that
beautiful.
a pan flute? Is that what that's called?
I don't know if that's a pan flute or not.
What's a pan flute?
What is a pan flute?
It is. It's just like the reeds, but they're different lengths.
You're right.
Pan flute.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
So
don't
that's
hear-
a
you
pan
don't
flute.
hear
I
a
didn't
lot
know
of-
what that was
You
called.
don't hear a lot of pan flute in cinema these days.
No,
so
you
I
really
think-
don't.
I think Moana 2 has some pan flute. I'm back in on.
Melodious Con.
Connor,
You familiar with the Melodious Con?
if I gave you a month, could you get proficient at the pan flute?
Yeah, probably. The jazz flute for sure.
That's the Duke
That's a-
Silver and
that's
the
a-
Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Ron Burgundy was jazz flute.
Yeah, he was jazz flute.
Are you a flutist?
can't play
A flautist?
You
No.
can't play the jazz flute.
Have you ever played a flute at all?
Never.
So how would you know that jazz flute would be the easiest one to learn?
I don't know, just because I watched the movie and I don't know. I feel like
That's the one you'd like to learn.
yeah, and I feel like I'd be more passionate about learning it, and I could probably pick it up quicker. I don't know.
So if I got you a jazz flute,
Yeah.
I gave you a month, you could
Is the jazz flute an instrument or is it just
a flute that you
it's
play
a
jazz
flute
on.
You play jazz on. You can't play the jazz flute. You can just play the flute, right?
Melodious.
You just play jazz on the flute.
I don't know what flute.
And a pan flute,
That's just a.
is it called that because of Peter Pan?
Why would it be called Peter Pan?
Peter Pan had a pan flute, didn't he? Didn't he have a fucking thing on his hip?
You know, fucking.
Have a fucking
So that's a pan flute.
Yeah, he
yeah. Yeah, Peter Pan had the pan flute.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say that's a poorly named thing.
The Greek god Pan.
Oh, so is Peter Pan named? Hold on, this is all.
This is a rabbit hole.
This is a rabbit
Pan
hole.
originate. All right. The pan flute became widely associated with the character
Peter
Peter Pan,
Pan.
played by Sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's
Fired
who's
by
there we
Canada.
go. So maybe not that deep of a rabbit hole. I just
There's
got
your
all the
knowledge.
answers I wanted
Right.
there.
Old
Done.
rabbit
Can't even fit a full adult rabbit in that hole.
with a melodious con.
Why do you keep
Melodious
saying
con?
that?
What's a melodious con?
Yeah, I like that.
I don't.
This is cool as fuck.
I don't like that guy. Why's he got so much wood around him? Finish the house.
Wait.
TikTok audio.
Yeah.
Why is he in that?
I don't.
Are they building a house inside a house? I don't like him.
I don't think that's that cool. That doesn't sound good.
It's not like
It doesn't look cool
sound good.
doing it.
Yeah, that's a big key of instruments is you got to look cool playing the instrument.
No. Make it stop.
That doesn't even sound good. That doesn't even.
Like that's not rad as fuck.
That's not rad as fuck at all. That's
No.
not even a little rad.
Can you look up jazz flute, see if it's an actual instrument or if it's just a flute that they play jazzy music on?
Harp is the one you can look the coolest on, right? That's like of those old.
Harps for women.
Right, but it looks cool. Like the way they play it looks cool.
You know, we have a harpist here. We have a harpy here at Barstool Sports.
A what?
A harpy?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
A harpist?
Is that a harp? Is that what you call a harpist?
No.
I don't know.
I thought a harpy was like
Harpy's a
Yu-
scandalous woman,
Yeah,
right?
it's a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Yeah. Well, the answer to both is Casey Smith.
Oh.
Played the harp.
There's the harp.
She plays the harp. She's the biggest harpy at Barstool. Go ahead and start counting the minutes down to that text message.
Harpy like a slur? Am I missing this?
Is it? I don't think it's a slur. I think it's just a name.
There was Sons of the Harpy in Game of Thrones.
What?
Sons of the Harpy. That was a group.
Just check your nerd shit at the door every now and then.
Okay.
Jeremiah Estrada, 13 strikeouts in a row. That's an MLB record, correct?
Mm-hmm. Going back
Just
to
last night.
going back to 1961 at least, which is
Okay.
expansion era.
It is. We just start keeping strikeouts in 1961?
There's
How do
if
we?
you really want to get into the weed of like the baseball reference nerd stuff, they have a bunch of different ways you can partition the dates based off when teams came into the league, when they changed balls and
Yeah.
style change. But yeah, expansion era since 1961 is the longest.
Sounds like just laziness. Sounds like I'll look it up back to 1961. I'm not going any further.
Yeah, I mean there is like an argument to be made that like baseball in certain eras like wasn't baseball. Like it used to be like you had to throw the ball where the batter wanted you to throw it, or else it was a ball.
You think working for the Elias Sports Bureau would be fun? It seems like a job that would be so fun, but if I give it 30 seconds of thought, I'm like, I would be bored.
You go
to
cross-eyed?
tears. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would like that. If it was, those are the people that have to
Do they just
dig this
get?
shit up, right? They are the preeminent, like, dig shit up guys.
Yeah.
Do they just get a special form of Google?
I would assume that they have a massive database and they have a bunch. This is going to be some really real nerd shit. They basically use SQL Server and they have a database with a bunch of different tables, and they can run queries through SQL to pull this information very quickly. It probably takes them about like 45 seconds to pull.
But who builds the database?
Select.
What do they run through there?
They use probably SQL Server,
Queries.
SQL.
Who builds the database though?
There is probably someone who is a manual data entry clerk. That is a big thing at these companies, which is probably the worst job.
Yeah, that would suck ass.
Yeah.
To go back and like now, I don't know if we do care, but like they keep track of like the temperature of baseball games now, like what temperature it was outside. I'm sure that wasn't really a thing back in the day, but I'm sure you could find that data. You could find, and on May 9th, 1918,
Mm-hmm.
what was the weather in Chicago? You think you could find that?
I'd kind of
right?
like to know that.
So there's like somebody probably goes back and like digs that shit up,
Yeah.
attaches it to whatever baseball games were played in Chicago that day.
There's
That
probably,
job would suck.
There's probably
ass,
someone
dude.
who's building like a very, very like deep database and entering like exact play-by-play data.
Yeah.
Like or an exact box scores and stuff like that, going all the way back to. Like,
So are we? Yeah, I wonder if anyone's like keeping track of shit that we don't really care about now, but we think we might care about in the future, as all these games are going on right now. Did the pitcher have his shirt untucked as he was pitching?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How many?
Like
necklaces?
we gotta document that just in case
How many shells
Or-
on his necklace?
40 years from now that becomes a relevant stat,
Mhm.
which it might. Honestly, at the rate baseball's going,
Mhm.
it might.
Uh,
You saw the Wilbon rant, by the way, while we're on this shit of exit velo.
Yeah.
Like was it like a week ago?
Yeah.
I'm assuming the nerds hated that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ken Rosenthal was big mad about that. It's like, go watch your own sport. But it's like, there is kind of a point to just being like, just get a fucking hit. Like, I don't, like, you hit the ball 120 miles an hour right
Yeah.
at somebody. Like, who gives a shit? You got out.
But
So,
exit
like-
velo just means you've hit the ball very, very hard.
Yeah, but it's also
How could
like-
you be against that idea?
No, I'm not against the idea.
How could Wilbon be against that idea?
Wilbon's just saying like he's a 230 hitter. Like he hits the ball hard, but he's not putting it in play and getting hits. Which
Hit it where they're
would be
not
effective,
is way
yeah.
more important than hitting.
So that's Louis
It is-
Arias, right?
it
He's the
is-
one that has the slow swing and
Yeah,
no exit velo, but
Knock
he
it around
gets
the park
hits.
a little bit.
Yeah.
there is someone pointed out on Twitter. It is like all these crazy like deep dives into statistical insights on like players hitting the ball hard, and it's like this is just like what hitting coaches have been saying for hundreds of years. Like you hit the ball hard and gap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and it's like
yeah, drive it into the
and
gap.
now the nerds are like on like, well, like look, you got to
If-
you got to get a high exit velocity and
Yeah.
hit it.
Why are you using a voice to mock the nerds when you yourself are a nerd?
Yeah, your voice actually,
I
the nerd
turn-
voice you use is actually like more jock than your
Yeah,
real
it's
voice.
it's like you're doing cool guy
Well, I
voice.
turned-
Oh, we got it.
Oh.
Like you like made your voice deeper.
Yeah.
And it
Ooh, we
sounded
got
a
big
little
dicks.
Yeah, I was trying to make the
Oh.
nerds sound dumber
cool. Oh,
because I've kind of turned on the baseball nerds a little bit. They're taking it too far.
Yeah.
It's like it's cool to have all this information, but to like
But you're
live and die on.
you're our nerd. You can't turn on the nerds.
I don't. There's some things the nerds are doing that just like sucking all the fun out of sport.
yeah.
Like I said, let Kyle Bradish throw that no hitter. I don't give a shit. Fucking let him go 150 pitches.
Fucking
Fucking
Mutter
I don't
fucking
give a
throw
shit.
mutter fucking.
Pitcher wins is something that I think 5 or 6 years ago I got sucked into like not caring about anymore because the nerds, they're like, pitcher wins mean nothing. It's so luck based. You're so reliant on how hot the bats are, and so much goes into it that like who cares what a pitcher's record is. And then I think I've had an epiphany in like the last year or so that's actually the only pitching stat that matters to me.
Well-
like Justin Steele's a good example with the Cubs right now. He hasn't been pitching well the last couple of starts, but like the Cubs haven't won, I think like the last 9 starts. I think it's what it's up to that Justin Steele has started, and he was on a tear to end last year. Like he was awesome for the Cubs. They couldn't win when he pitched, and I was like, as it turns out, I think me as a fan, that's kind of all I care about. And I'm not saying it's entirely his fault, but yeah, is it like I would prefer just winning the fucking game. I don't really care about anything else. Just whatever it takes to win. If you give up 7 runs, but you knew you could give up 7 runs because the other team, because your teammates scored 11 runs, I don't give a shit that you gave up 7 runs. You did enough to win the game.
yeah, and
That's
plus
where I'm at with
the guys who have accrued the most wins in their career are
The best pitcher.
weirdly the best
Yeah,
pitchers. And that all that means is when you left the game, your team was winning and went on to win. If you do that 300 times, you're pretty goddamn good.
Yeah.
You're pretty fucking good.
But if you're up 8-0 and you give up a grand slam, that's terrible for your stats, and people would say that. But I don't know, like maybe you knew you had
Maybe you wouldn't have done
some
that.
wiggle room, so you're like, you know what I'm gonna do on this? I'm gonna throw the grand slam pitch.
I'm throwing strikes.
I don't know. I just don't care. I ultimately, I don't know. Maybe I'll revisit it when someone smarter than me explains to me that I'm a big dumb bitch. But I don't know.
Wait,
I desperately want a Greg Maddux. Like
Yeah.
we'll never have another Greg Maddux, and Greg Maddux is maybe one of the like 5 greatest pitchers that's ever played Major League
Yeah.
Baseball.
no, it'll
he was-
it'll happen because like in basketball right now, the game centers are obsolete, and the last 4 MVPs are all centers, right? Like there will always be somebody that goes against whatever the current fad is.
Well, Jesus said we're all sinners, so I think by extension, the basketball players would be sinners. You did say sinners. You would have called me out for that.
I did.
You said sinners.
Was it too soft of a T?
Yeah, you did say that.
Too soft
That's
of a T. Sometimes I have soft T's, or often no T.
Yeah, and baseball does a good job of the tug of war between pitcher and hitter. That if hitters get too good, they'll give pitchers a little leeway to put some junk on the ball or raise the laces so they get more torque on the ball or whatever else. and vice versa. That I think baseball does a great job of that, of figuring out like who needs to be dialed back a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
they're not afraid to, even the playing field with pitchers and hitters. So if hitters, if they get too good, they'll just like, how do you juice a ball for a pitcher? Raise the laces? Would that be it?
Back in the 60s,
Get
they
more-
raised the mound.
Raise the mound?
They raised the
More
mound.
torque on
Yeah,
the-
bring me those tweezers. This is quite the splinter I got. This is not going to work. I got to get in there and move it around a little bit. That's all right. I've had splinters before, but there's no part of it hanging out. It's all it.
Use the pointy side, right?
Oh, all right.
Also, soak it in some water.
Yeah.
Soak it in some hot water.
I don't want to soak it in hot water. I want to get it out of my finger. All right. What else? The DC Zoo's getting its pandas back.
Yep, we're getting pandas back. We got our pandas back.
So,
Oh yeah, they stole the pandas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
China tried to steal all the pandas.
Yeah.
well, they did steal them.
Yeah, they
right?
stole all our pandas back.
Why are they giving them back?
My understanding is
They got
that,
spy equipment in them now, don't they?
that Orioles' new owner, David Rubenstein, is funding this. He's just basically like funding us getting the pandas back.
So he might
It's
fund.
like buying pandas.
He might fund you a World Series winner and get us all our pandas back in the same year.
Be quite the feat.
Giant panda habitat since November 2023. All right.
What happens if he tightens his purse strings in free agency now because he doesn't have any money because he spent it all on the
It's going
pandas?
all to the.
How are you going to feel about that as
I'm
an
gonna be
Orioles fan?
honest. I love the pandas. So the pandas are great. Pandas are a fantastic animal.
Are pandas one of those animals that are trying to die, but we won't let them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're trying to go extinct, and we're
Like
just
rhinos.
we're making them.
Rhinoceros have been
go
trying to
extinct.
die off for years, and we just won't let them.
Is that true?
I think so.
They just don't be fucking.
I don't know. I think there's they've had a good run. They're just ready to check on out. And I don't know about pandas.
Yeah, I think male pandas are incels.
Really? How?
They spend a lot of time on Discord and they don't go outside.
Yeah, yeah.
They just don't be fucking.
They don't want to fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah, I
character in
mean-
Tekken.
What?
Great character in Tekken.
Oh yeah.
They. Yeah, that's what. And so we have to force them. to have
Tekken
sex
2
with
was
each
so
other,
good.
yeah. Tekken?
Tekken 2.
I'd only use Yoshimitsu.
Really?
Yeah, because he had a sword, and I didn't really feel like.
What's Tekken?
Fighting game on PlayStation.
Hmm.
I think it was on PlayStation 1, the first one.
Yes.
I have it.
Speaking of rich guys doing shit, how do we feel about the guy saying he's going to build a submersible to go back to the Titanic?
You want to give that word a try again?
Submersible.
There you go.
What did I say? Submissible?
Submissible, yeah. Like it's gonna.
Submersible.
It's like
Submissible?
we're gonna get it pregnant. It's just gonna give us sandwiches all day.
Submissive?
Yeah.
Submissive.
We need a
Sub.
submarine.
Sub.
$30 million submarine
Submersible.
project in an attempt to prove the Titanic wreck site can be explored safely. This seems like the precursor to his death, or maybe he brings submersibles back, and we.
I think that's his
we all
plan,
go.
yeah.
We all go.
Submarines are making a comeback because anytime watch a Major League Baseball game this year, there will be an ad for build submarines behind home
Really?
plate. I've watched a ton of Orioles games, and even like on opposing like teams broadcasts, there will be like an ad, be like, "We build submarines."
Who are they advertising to? Us?
Who's
like,
building?
I think-
like the
I think-
average person?
Yeah, they want like
Like
guys who watch baseball.
with a little discretionary income to
trade.
like go. I just have my own fucking submarine that I take out on the weekends. That's who they.
I think they're recruiting
catering
people to like weld these submarines so that we can go back to the Titanic.
Welding.
Is that like the only place people want to go? Is the Titanic? We can't go
Yeah.
anywhere else.
There's a lot of
There's
places
a lot
to
of
go.
ocean. It feels like we could use these things elsewhere.
Also,
But everyone
go-
just wants to go to the Titanic.
Go in a part of the ocean that's like 200 feet deep. Go down and see the bottom there. You don't have to go to the bottom of 7 miles or 5 miles or whatever it is.
Also, $20 million. I saw that number, and I was like, "Damn, that's like not really a lot of money to spend on a submarine." I don't know if I really trust this, right? Like, I feel
Yeah.
like the price tag of a submarine should be like,
But maybe that's
way
why.
higher.
Maybe that's why he's doing it. He goes down. He doesn't die, and then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
everything I thought I knew about these submarines is wrong.
It is like, what
not
point
as-
is he trying to? Because like, see, I spent $20 million and didn't even die. Like, what am I
Yeah.
supposed to do with that information? I'm not gonna do it no matter what.
Yeah. But there are a lot of people that I mean, there are a lot of people that want to go see the Titanic. I don't really know why. I'm into the Titanic for what it's worth. I fucking can't read enough about it. I have no interest in going in a submarine
But if you've seen
to the bottom of the ocean.
pictures of it at the bottom of the ocean, what is seeing it in person going to do for you?
And this is why the pandas aren't fucking, because they say the same thing. They
Mhm.
say once you've seen pictures of it, I don't have to get in there.
Once I've seen pictures
I've
of
seen
panda
pictures
pussy,
of pussy. I don't need to go. I can sit in my basement and
Mhm.
just look at pictures of
panda pussy.
panda pussy and eat this bamboo. I don't need to go. Yeah, I know, because you're not even really like getting in the Titanic.
No.
So you're still kind of
Down there looking
you're
at
just
it.
Down there, you're not really.
You're basically looking at pictures of it.
I'm very anti going down there, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
because it feels like
It's a waste, and there's
it's a
nothing
fucking graveyard too.
there's
It's
nothing
like-
satisfying going down there.
yeah.
It's just what
Now, counterpoint. I'm with you guys.
you like to
Oh,
go down
cool.
there.
So, cool. So we don't need the counterpoint then. No, yeah, we don't need the counterpoint.
No,
All right.
I'm with you guys, but the devil's advocate would say, using that logic, would you then want to go to space and see Earth from outer space? If we know what Earth looks like, why would you go to outer space? It's kind of the same thing.
I would not. I also don't think I want to really go to outer space.
Okay.
But also, there aren't 15. I'm not going to a specific point in outer space where 1,500 people died, in like the most fucking grisly, insane.
So the Zamboni's doing 8 things. Number 1, what it does is it shaves the ice. It shaves, and then Connor, there's 8 points of contact for the Zamboni.
The Zambussy?
This is PTSD to first grade. This is what she did to him too. she
She was just trying to tell
She
him
would
how
walk-
machines work.
She would walk up to Connor and explain the Zamboni to him. All right, good to have you back, Brandon.
Yeah, nice to be back. I'll be out probably Monday. I got to go back down for the funeral this weekend.
What
So
happened?
Shady Rays.
we don't have it.
What?
Shady Rays.
I didn't see it on there.
Well, Shady Rays is wonderful and awesome.
I really like Shady Rays, but
I think that was yesterday. We're good.
We're good.
It's tomorrow.
Okay.
uh,
Tomorrow we're going to tell you all about Shady Rays.
also
Big day
reminder.
tomorrow, yeah.
Also reminder. Oh yeah, tomorrow.
First show tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
What's that? What did you say, TJ?
Oh, short show. So
Short
we
show,
go
yeah,
to
yeah, short show tomorrow because we're doing the roof ball for the Yak, and
Yeah.
it's like 3.5 hours away. Not really, but
yeah.
it is pretty far. So we got to get out of here to go.
Yeah.
Make it to that on time. But so we'll probably stop at like 10. But the next week we're moving the show back.
Monday, June 3rd, we're going to 10 o'clock Central Time.
As a reminder,
Mm-hmm. And
we will be doing that
I
next
won't-
week. You won't be here for.
I won't be here for the first one, but I'll be here for the rest of them.
You won't be here for the rest of them.
I'll be here for most of them. Be here for a large percentage.
You'll be here for yeah. You'll be here.
All
All
right.
right, that's the show. See you guys tomorrow.
That's how ball is done.